Now I'm supposed to be working on my custom James model right now, but honestly I'm getting really tired of sanding this body, so I'm going to take a break and make a little bridge for the model railway instead. This is where I plan to put the bridge. I made this little template to kind of show you what it'll look like. It'll just look like this. It'll have a road over it, and then once I'm done with it, I can put a mountain over here, and it'll have the road going across the mountain. Kind of like this one bridge from Season 5. That's kind of what I'm going for. Now this here is the foam board I'm going to be using, but I have an issue where this paper, it really likes to rip when you try and peel it off. Look. See, no matter what I do, it ends up ripping like that, but I think I have something that might help. I've heard spraying the paper with some of this, it's just water in here. It might help loosen it up and it might come off a little easier, so let's try that. I used this last time and it did work pretty well, so we'll see. Well, that water technique really worked well, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And for those of you wondering, I didn't mention this earlier, but this is Ready Board foam. This is from the Dollar Tree, and it just comes with the paper backing. I use it in all my projects. It's very helpful foam. Now with the paper off, I can start cutting out the actual pieces for our tunnel here. I had to do most of the cutting off camera, but here's our first wall section. I'm just going to trace this to make a second one. Here's our second tunnel piece. Here's some cubes. These will go on the inside of the bridge. And here are two more squares. These will go on the outside of the bridge. Now with all these pieces cut out, I can go ahead and start adding the brick texture to each piece. And to do that, I'll just use a pencil and a ruler, and I can just go through and indent the foam with the brick texture. And it should look something like this. I just got to do this on every piece. In case you're wondering, I'm making every brick 1/2 centimeter by 1.5 centimeters. That just helps them all be consistent. Alright, here are all our pieces marked out, so now I can start putting them together. I need to cut out some of this pink foam for this, and I'll show you why in a minute. These are all pretty messy, but it shouldn't matter. I'm just going to put them on the inside, and I'll use them to hold the bridge together. See, I've used the two edges of this foam that were at 90 degrees to glue our two wall sections at 90 degrees, so now they're perfectly straight with each other. And I can just use that technique as well as the rest of these foam cubes to glue the rest of the parts in place. This is starting to look pretty good. I've put some little tape pieces here so the walls don't move around while they're drying. Now that I've got these bricks attached on the bottom, I can go ahead and start working on the road on the top, and it should be pretty easy. I just have another piece of foam for it. Well, this is starting to look really nice. I've got the entire bridge finished here, so I can move on to painting, starting first with some tan, and then I'll do some dry brushing using this dark brown. Here is our finished paint job, and I have to say this looks pretty nice. I've got these little risers here, which is where the road is going to go, and for the road, I'm just going to use some of this printed road cardboard, and this is from Metcalf Models, so I'll just cut it and then I can glue it on top of here. Well, this bridge is basically done. There's just one more little detail I'm going to add. I'm going to put some of this black soot weathering powder on the front of the bridge here to represent where the soot from the engines blows up onto the bridge. So there you go, there is our completed railway bridge, and I have to say this thing turned out looking really nice. Obviously I still need to connect it to the rest of the layout, but I still think it looks pretty good on its own. And no, I didn't forget about James. I did some sanding on the boiler while I was waiting for the paint to dry on the bridge, so hopefully I can get back to working on this project now. I'd like to have the video out as soon as possible, but obviously I need to finish making the model first, so we'll see. Hopefully it can come out in the near future. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I've been the Cheerful Tram, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!